It's me, your food designer Arlene, and it's such a lovely day today. I thought we should set a new aroma in the kitchen. Let's make some pumpkin oat bread. We're starting with the main ingredient, the star of the bread, which is pumpkin. So I have here some fresh pumpkin. Now you can use frozen pumpkin as well. I really like to promote just sustainable and cost-effective operations. So if you have some pumpkin and you're not going to use it right away in its fresh state, you can get it into pieces like this and put it in a little baggie and freeze it, and it's really good when you make bread with it as well. So we're just gonna blend this up into a nice puree. So into the blender, and I have here some warm water, not boiling hot, just warm, like you should be able to touch it. And I'm just going to go the same height. I know this is not an exact measurement, but it's also to help you gauge, and feel and make things your own and kind of not always have to read from a recipe. So we're just going to blend this into a puree, and we're going to save some of our warm water in case we need to add to bring the dough together. So I'm going to puree this, and we're going to go on to our next step. There's something about toasting things that just brings out flavor. So we're going to gently toast our oats for this bread. First, into a small pot, I'm just going to put my oats in. Don't harass it too much, okay? Just let it take its time, toast, get the edges nice and brown. I'm adding some cinnamon powder here. And I have some fresh nutmeg. Now, I think I've said this before, but this is not the nutmeg. It's actually inside, so you do have to get it out of the shell. There were a few people that wasn't familiar with that. And it's very easy to crack. I just put it in a cloth like I just did, and on the tiniest side of the grater that you have, we're just gonna grate a bit. So already our bread is having a lot of good spices to match the pumpkin. I'm sure everybody is familiar with all the trendy things that go on with pumpkin, with the cinnamon, the nutmeg. And for my international followers, this is an excellent and easy recipe during the fall time. Can you imagine your house smelling of fresh pumpkin and oat bread with all of these nutmeg and cinnamon running through? It's a great recipe for that time of year. All right, so I have some nutmeg. Let's put that in. Perfect. I'm just gonna incorporate all of these ingredients here. This doesn't take long, so don't walk away too quickly from this. We're not patching it. Is it patching it when you burn something? That's something that we say in the Caribbean, like, you're patching jeera seeds or something like that, but we are lightly toasting today. All right, so this is gonna go on for a few minutes. I'm going to spread it out nice and even into the pan here. Let that side get nice and brown, and then I'm gonna switch it around a little bit, and then we're done. We set this aside and let it cool, and we're gonna start on our dough. So now we're making the dough. So I'm going to start with my dry flour in my mixer. And what's important is to be nice and light-spirited and happy when you're making this bread. You don't want to be upset, because then you might end up with stone. We don't want stone, right? So we're going to do all of our dry ingredients. So all-purpose flour, some baking powder, yeast. We're going to do a little brown sugar, and I don't even have to tell you that brown sugar with pumpkin and these other things make amazing flavors, right? So we're going to do a little brown sugar. And there we go. A little bit of salt. Perfect. Of course, our toasted oats. And here I am going to let this run. I'm using my dough hook attachment on the mixer. I'm going to do this on a medium heat. on a medium mixing. I'm so excited to get to the oven. Hear me talking about heat already. So I'm going to let this go for a couple minutes just to let air run through the flour and all the dry ingredients, just about 2 or 3 minutes. So we let this run around in here, air is running through it. I'm now going to add my margarine and my shortening, and these are both at room temperature. There we go. Right, so this is going to mix again for another 3 to 5 minutes just to gently incorporate everything, get the butter mixed up with everything. And then we're going to add our nice warm blended pumpkin, and that is what is going to bring our dough together. A good way to know if this is ready for the liquid part of the dough is that it's very crumbly and everything is well incorporated. You're not seeing any lumps or anything like that. And of course you use your spatula to push down the sides, make sure everything gets in. So on a nice slow mix, we're going to start adding our pumpkin mix. And I have been purposely not making this, all the way smooth, because I like the little bits and chunks of pumpkin that we get. And also, the reason why I blend it is it kind of incorporates all through the bread. And we want pumpkin bread, not pumpkin bits of bread, right? So we're going to mix this nice and slow, adding our liquid little bit at a time until the dough hugs the hook, not like a little antisocial hugger, like a hug. So when the dough is nice around the hook, then we know it's ready, and we're gonna set it aside to rest for 30 to 40 minutes. So our dough is taking a little rest in a nice warm place. In the meantime, we're going to prepare our pans. So here's what we're doing. We're doing equal parts shortening and margarine, and we're keeping it in a nice little pot, melted, and we have a nice little brush that's going to brush our pans nice and evenly, grease them up, make sure nothing sticks in them. All right, so I call it grease magic. There's no magic really, but it makes the process easier. So with this, it goes on nice and thick and evenly. So we're going to grease 2 pans to get our bread in. And it is that easy. It's already coated. If I was doing that with butter, it's a whole process. All right, so I'm going to grease these up, and then we're going to get ready to separate our dough and fill into the loaves. It's dough time, guys. So we're going to make 2 loaves of bread. I'm going to do a little dry flour on my clean, dry surface. And what you would have ended up with originally is a bit of a sticky dough, and I like to leave it sticky so that when it rises up, it's still very moist, and only at this time is when I start incorporating dry flour. So I'm just going to get this onto my counter. Perfect. Oh, there we go. And gently mix and knead. Not too hard, and try and smile when you do it. You have to be in a good mood, and you see with little effort it's already smooth, and you can see how nice and soft this is. And I didn't use a lot of dry flour either. You don't want the dough to be too dry. So I'm going to eyeball my average and just cut my dough into 2 like this, right? And you don't want to fold and knead. You want to be very nice, light, and gentle with this. My pans are ready. So I am just, make sure it's not sticking, just going to roll it till it gets on average to the length. So what I would do is put my pan here to get like an average so I don't make it too long, right? And of course we have to let this sit for a little bit. And it's that easy. We put it in. Look at that. All right, so just wipe up here. Then I am going to use my grease magic. to baste the top of the dough. We're going to get a little fancy and put some nice, depending on if you want it really oaty on top, you put some sprinkles of oats at the top, and when that bakes, it's going to be nice and brown. Give your bread some color and texture. And this is our pumpkin oat bread. I'm going to set up my other loaf. We're going to let this sit for 15 to 20 minutes in a nice cool place. Preheat the oven at 350 degrees, and then we're going to bake them for about 30 to 40 minutes. And what are we going to do with all this bread? What is your favorite thing to have with fresh bread? Let me know in the comments. Let me know. I know you can't smell it, but if you try the recipe, you'll have that customized smell in your kitchen, just like I have it here. So this is our pumpkin oat bread. After we make the loaves, we put it to lie down for a little bit in our corner. We put it in the oven. We smell up the place. And now look at what we have. We have this 2 nice loaves. We're going to cut in and do, of course, hot bread and butter. That's how we do it in the Caribbean, but if you do it another way, let me know in the comments. Let me know when you make bread or your mom made bread, what is the thing that you would have with that hot bread? And we're fighting for the end. Eh? Now in my house, the 2 ends of the bread does go missing early, but I alone here, so I get in the end of the bread, right? Look at that. Nice, look at that softness now. We fancy all here. And some nice butter. I like heavy on the butter, but you know, if you want to be health conscious, go light on the butter. Do what is right. Pumpkin oat bread with our special toasted oats. Don't forget the toasting part, because that really makes the difference. Hot bread and butter, guys. So much butter, I feel like it's all over my face, huh? So listen, as soon as you try this recipe, don't just tag me in the pictures, please. Send a piece, send a piece, because I want to try your version of this. Make it your own. Guys, it's been a pleasure cooking with you. Thank you for coming into the kitchen with me. Make sure to subscribe. Check out the details of the recipe below. Follow me on Instagram. And take a little sneak over on TikTok. I know it's addictive, but I'm over there too. I'll be eating and doing things over there on TikTok too. So, you'll have a great day. Thanks. Bye.